welcome back to Oakley Hour and day 2 of our Firefly Forest. So I'd say that we didn't get too far, but we did do the unboxing and we did test all the lights, and we found out that my circuit board did not work. Although I'm going to continue to test it on and off just in case a miracle happens. Because of that, I'm going to be using this box, which is not going to fit inside the build, or it might, I doubt it. So we will see how that goes. So this is the last time this is going to be put together for a little bit as far as lighting goes for both sides. We will be working on this side. So let me get things together and we will get going on that. Okay, we're going to be working on this side. The other side we are not going to see for a while. So first of all, I'm going to put the backing on. So I'm doing slightly out of order, but I have reason to my madness. So I'm going to use wood glue for this, and it goes on top. So that's the important thing. And I know you're not going to see what I'm going to show you any second. Ooh, but on this piece of paper, there is a line. This isn't going to be enough wood glue anyway. Hold on. I will show it to you. I really will. But we want enough wood glue to hold this. And I'm doing this first because I want it to have time to sit for a while. So let's see if I can get you to see this. So there is a dot. You can just about see it on the green. There is a dotted line just down here. And we will be having a piece of wood which goes across like that. Not yet, but we will. So I'm going to put this on here, and I have brackets that will work with this to make sure that it sits correctly. So let me get them. I already got them out. My goodness, I was almost forward thinking there. It's quite shocking sometimes, even for me. So I'm going to do it, but it's going. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this. Well, they've got to meet for starters, so it's got to be this way. So go careful of your light. You do have one at the bottom there. And put it in your brackets. Turn that around for you. And what you're going to do is you're going to line it up in here. Twist your handles, which I'm going to have to do probably a bit off camera right now, because for me to twist this, it's the only way I'm going to be able to do it. I'm getting a bit smaller first. They're a bit extended. I'm going to have to put more wood glue on it, soak it all in. I can see it has. Put that one a bit smaller. Okay, let's do this again. This time we put it on here. Maybe we'll put it on both. We want it to have a good seal. And then that can sit there while we do the bits that they have in order. And because we're putting that other piece at an angle, I might be able to use brackets. If it's like this degree, what is that, 45 degrees? If it's at 45 degrees, it's possible I will still be able to use my brackets to hold it in place. I just couldn't swear that that's the degree it's at, but I will find out. I have high hopes that it is going to be that way. Right, so I put it on both for wood glue, and it lines up perfectly. All we have to do is put it in the brackets. And I'm going to put one bracket at the top and one bracket at the bottom. So just make sure it's flat. And then I'm going to put it back my way a bit, just so I can use the end of the desk to tighten it. And shuffle it around until it's fitting properly. So that side's gone. And I'm just going to do this one. I know you're not seeing much right now, I apologise. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same. So I've got a bracket on here, holding it at the 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to do the same with the top, which I can do with you guys. So I just want to make sure it goes to that corner, because I can see it's a little off here. And see if this is out enough, or if I've got to extend it. This one I have to make bigger, so obviously whatever this was used on before was a lot smaller. possible. So put it on your angle. I do have other angles than this one, but these I have been just jumped off something and made me jump. These ones I have found to be best. Let's see if I can move that out of the way for the moment rather than squashing the wire. Okay, make sure it's flat. Got a nice join there. And then tighten one side, adjust. So you've got it bracketed in. That's what you want to do, is pull it apart. You really don't. And what you're looking for is quite nice tight corners. And it feels a little bit out to me. Just a millimetre, but nevertheless still out. Come on. I know the wood glue had actually started to work. Gave me quite a push. But it will continue. And we can get on with doing other things. So, to be honest with you, I'm not going to show you this every time. You'd get bored. But if you do have clamps or you are using other pieces of equipment, this is what you want to do. You want to make sure that this particular angle is tight. It's our base of our whole book nook. So I'm just going to adjust this one slightly at the bottom here. Then I'm going to cover up my madam so I can see there's a slight, there we go. No, I had you and then you moved. It was just a millimetre or two out. Alright, I'm going to pop this to one side, cover up my madam, and then we will get on with the next set. Alright, next steps. So, first of all, I'm starting off with this piece. Now I have put a new blade in here, so need to be quite careful we don't go all the way through. So what this has is it has a dotted line going down the middle. You can just about see it down here, right there. And all the way down it, and what you want to do is score it. If you've got anything to score it with, it make it easier. Back in the day I never scored because I didn't know, it was never even gave it a thought as to that was something you could do. And it's just paper, so you don't want to be too thick, and it should give a nice crisp edge. And what we want to do is put some glue. Thought I was organised, I was not at all. In here, and just stick it together and give it a moment to do its thing. So I'm going to use beacon like I have been doing, but I will be changing glue soon on others for other stuff. But this particular part, I'll be using beacon. So at the moment, I've flicked between beacon and wood glue for this build. I don't think I've used anything else. And then just get a credit card. Not as something sharp, not something with a sharp edge. You want it with a reasonably soft edge. So credit cards work quite well. A ruler could damage it. Okay, and that goes there. Then we will take our parts. And I'm going to start, not with this one. This one looks a bit terrifying to me. I'll start with this one. And you want to make sure that your hole is at the top. This is on this side. This one is just going to go into this corner. So again, I'm just going to use a bit of beacon for that. And this is quite straightforward in comparison to the other parts. So you can put it on the wood, or I'm going to just put it on this piece of paper. And I just thought there's one other thing that I'm going to need to go and grab as well. Actually, I have it with me. I've got lots of steps pulled for today, so I'm really hoping that we are going to get a move on and get quite a bit of this done. But we are working quite a bit on the frame. This is going to be the bottom. I'm assuming that hole, gosh, I can't get it on the edge. I'm assuming that hole is for the wiring to go down. And there is not a hole on my little green piece I'm going to put. So again, you could rub it with this. There you go. But for a small piece, your hand's probably dry. Then this one, you want it facing this way. This is going to be an angle, and you want this to be at the top. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to get some glue on here, and I'm going to try and put it in place. You want some left over on this far edge, so you want this side here to be flush with the green, but the other side should have a hangover, which is going to attach our mirror. So I'm going to kind of leave it in place, it's not glued in, and get this little piece glued. And if you have, it's not perfect fit, it's okay. We are going to fix that right on up after we've got the grass in. So there's going to be a little bit of flexibility in there for you. Sometimes it's difficult to get it precise, isn't it? I mean, anyone who's seen my videos know I've made plenty of errors. So because it's beacon, it does have manoeuvrability, which is always good. So like it needs to go over that way a little bit more, and a little bit more that way. Just try not to press it down. Once you press it down, it doesn't have quite the manoeuvrability that it had. And I think that works reasonably well. So now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to wait for this to dry. I'm just going to get straight on in. Get my paper, it didn't look like it was quite down enough there. And get this green on. And then I'm going to let that give it a moment, and I'll get glue all over my water. Don't do that particularly. We are going to be putting glue on the water, but basically what we're going to do is put some like grass around, so it's not such sharp edges basically. So start on the far side, and you saw me do the templates in day one, so I did all the templates in day one. So if you want to know how I did those, then I just go back to that and then let it dry, and you cut them out, and that's what I've done here. But I haven't cut all of the templates out, I'm kind of just cutting it out as I need. And because I have had this grass under some weight, it is lying pretty flat there, and you can see how that looks like so. Come back to this in one moment, it won't be long on that one. I'm going to do the same with this, and once this is dry I will get that hole put in. All I'm going to do is go through it with a blade. And I won't do it as a circle, I would do it as a, just an X, basically. This is where the wire goes, type effort. I'm assuming that's what that circle is going to be for, so make sure you get glues around it but not in it. And you get your edges, it's going to be quite important. This is the floor of the model. And it's at an angle, because why would you want it straight? Right. And underneath here will go your wiring, which is why I'm thinking I may have room, I may not for that little box, we will see. Assuming all of a sudden those other lights don't work. So line it up. And as long as you don't press it down, you have some manoeuvrability with beacon. And beacon really has served me quite well since I found out about it. I think I started using it on the Disney Doll's house, and it really has worked quite well. Better than, I mean, B7000 is a quicker to hold, I think, but beacon just feels better to me. Maybe I just don't use B7000 enough to judge that. And then find your hole, which is somewhere here. Probably stuck myself. Ah, yep. I'm just going to do a twiddle, just so we know it's there. So we've got a tiny hole in there. Okay. Then what we are going to do, we are going to change blues. We are going to go to, I've got some like PVA from one of my models. You could use tacky, you could use B7000. You can, you know, pick your poison on this. So I'm going to use this. I just want to find my little tray. I've put it somewhere and I have no idea what I've done with it. I'll be back in 2 ticks. Okay, because this is going to make a right mess. So what you want to do, this isn't quite down anyway, so this will help this come down. Well, the sun's right in my eyes. Probably going straight across the screen too. So I'm going to lift this a bit because I haven't put enough glue here anyway. Use a little bit of PVA for this corner. Like I said, it just came from a model. I don't even know which one. Okay, and just go around that. Get it off my hands. Making it more messy than it needs to be. And just go around your edge. And this is just to take the sharpness out of the cuts, basically. And just go around. Make it look more natural. Just trying to use up some of my supplies. I got all these supplies from models, and quite often I stick with my favourites, like Beacon, Tacky, B7000, where needed, wood glue, very rarely super glue, yeah, that's where that is. So I'm going to leave this green on this tray once it's done, because I'm hoping that we will be using it again today. And if not, it will be tomorrow. My plan is to get a fair chunk done today. Alright, just leave it like so. Press it in a little, but you don't want too much of a press. Just get some of that wet glue out. Make sure it's on the water. Or you can pour it into, it will eventually go back into the bag, but for the moment it can go like that. And it will stay on the tray. And you have something like so. That is sunny, isn't it? Coming on in. So we don't want too much on the grass, and it is sticking to this, whatever stuff it is. AstroTurf type stuff, is it? I think they use it in modelling. I need to get some of this. One day I'm going to do that diorama I keep talking about. Haven't got there yet, but one day it's going to be there. Don't worry too much about this edge. I don't think you're going to see that very much because it's going to have loads of ornaments and stuff on. Right, and then I'm going to leave this all to dry. Get this off the turf. I'm going to leave this to dry, give that wall a chance to dry, and then we will put this in. Actually, I'll tell you what. No, we will do that, and then we're going to go and put another piece together before we. You see, this needs just a tiny bit more here, in my opinion. Not too much. We want to see the water. Okay. And me putting it down underweight, I mean, it was underweight. I've had this model quite a while, and I do the unboxing to make sure everything's in the box, although I wasn't testing the wires, and I will be doing that going forward. Okay, and then pop this to one side, and I'm going to give that a minute, and when I come back we are going to be messing with some water features. Can we do that beforehand? Let me just see. That one goes down the bottom, this one goes on the top. I think we can put this on here. So this glass, it's a mirror, so it's going to be really bright for you right now, but it's at an angle, it's not square, so if I put these together it's probably not going to help, but it's definitely not going to help with that view. You can see that this isn't square here, so it goes down at a contour, and what you want is you want this edge. It's not the piece we're going to do anyway, so it's going to be which piece? I'm trying to, because this one's totally square. Which one's got the short? Bear with me. Okay, I think it's this one anyway. So what I'm going to do is this sticks on the back of here, like so. Doesn't fit very well, does it? Let me just check myself. Well, I've got myself so confused already. Hold on, let me go back to the parts list. Okay, so the thing to watch is the way you're trying to put it on. So if you put it on the right way, if you put it on the wrong way, you're going to have a gap down here. If you put it on the right way, then it's flush. I did go and check all my pieces because I was thinking that I'd pulled the wrong piece, but it wasn't. It's just that I put it on the wrong way, or was trying to attempt to. So for this, glue-wise, I'm going to carry on with my wood glue, and I am going to try and use this. So you want it on the back of the mirror, and I'm going to try and leave these mirror covers on as long as I can, just because I know I can sometimes be a bit messy. Not intentionally, but it happens. Go, and then see if we can put this in. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze because it may not clip on this side. I don't think it's going to clip on this side whatsoever, actually. If it was flat, maybe, but then this other part wouldn't be flat. So you could use other types of glue, but this is what I am using. So it looks something like so. And I'm going to put that to one side. Put it over here. I'm trying to think where I can put it that's not going to cause a problem. Now we go to our slanty one, and I can see, yeah, you can see from that angle. And what we want is we want this piece on the, let's see, the short length, which this side has the pond. And what we're going to be doing is sticking it on like so. And again, I'm not going to be able to use the clamp for that. But you want the mirror part going outwards. Okay. So, and we'll leave that one to sit. Wood glue probably isn't the ideal for this part because it's only got, it's mostly metals and stuff, but we'll see. It might be okay. Otherwise it'd probably be something else. It might be a bit better, or even tacky. Any one of them probably is going to be better than what wood glue would be. And put those on there like so. Just double checking myself before I leave it to do its thing. I'm just going to prop this up. Got a bit of grass on the back here now. So I'm going to prop these both up and let them sit until they stabilise. And try and get them as flat as possible. So I'm just going to put my little pots of bits that I have for today there. And that's why you needed the overhang for this, by the way, was to make sure that it was on there. Right, I'll be back in a mo. Alright, so this isn't totally set, but I think it's enough to do the next step. So it has this dotted line here. I don't think these are going to work. I don't think my clamps are going to work. And I did find this piece on the side here to be a little bit on the bow side. So I have hopefully rectified that with clamps and stuff. So let's see. So what we want is the pond to be towards the front, touching the pattern there, and this to be up against it. So I'm quite happy that the this hasn't fully taken, because we want this one to go in there flat. So I'm just going to get some wood glue on here again, and then follow the double dotted line. So it's got two dotted lines, one for each side of the wood here, and make sure you're, I'm not going to say the obvious, but make sure your pond is upwards towards the main part. And it should go something like so. And then I'm going to leave that to do its thing. Like I said, I don't think I can clamp this, so and it went down on here. Because I don't think it's the right angle to be able to clamp it. And this is too high. That is about right. Oh, no, it was too low that side. So I'm just trying to follow this dotted line as close as I can, and then leave it to do its thing. Okay, and again, I'll be back in a bit. Get this. Okay, so back to this. Alright, so this I have got masking tape on here just holding it in. I mean, it hasn't had that long and it is wood glue, so it does take a little bit of time. It will be nice and solid tomorrow. It's in about 24 hours. So first of all, let's start with this piece. So you still have the cover on this, and I'm going to leave that on, like I said, as long as I can. Now this, when you get it in, should be behind. It should not go right to the end. It's meant to have a little hangover. I don't think mine has as much. They say 0.3. I don't think mine's 0.3. And it's still a little bit... It's definitely not straight to the floor either. Interesting. Okay. Alright, let's get this in. And I'm going to use some tacky for this. And I think I'm going to pull that floor up, because it should be on the floor. But I think before I do that, I will get the other one on too, and then I'll adjust the floor at the end. And because the wood glue wouldn't entirely have set yet, I should be able to adjust it. Okay, so what do we want? We want this edge, and this edge. Of course, if you're looking for a quick fix, you could always super glue it. I'm not a big super glue person, not overly my thing. And I guess the bottom as well. I'm not so sure about the bottom right now, because it's not going to go where I want it to 100%. And I don't think I have that 0.3 on the end either. I don't know what I can do about that. Okay. So just make sure you're nicely into the centre, like so. I wish I hadn't done that. You're going to have to do something about that flooring. And then what you do is you take your other piece and just making sure I get getting this to the right angle. So that goes that way and this goes this way. And this one will be over, so maybe it's that one angle. 0.3. None of them are 0.3. Oh, maybe from the top here it is. Okay, I think that's what it's telling me. Okay. So, and this goes over my grass that I put around my pond on that side. So there were, excuse me. I'm trying to get glue everywhere now. Right, going to put this in. I'm glad I got that tape on there, that's for sure. And then I will give it a moment and then adjust that flooring. So we want it on this side, and the bottom. And hopefully that grass on the bottom there will not be too bad, or at least get covered up. But that's my hope and prayer here. Make sure it's all the way in as far as you can, and all the way down. Looks like it's going to be about 0.3 all the way. I think that was the measurement they were talking about. Let's see what I can do on this floor. Oh, now it seems to have settled. Oh, that's because it's not totally here. I think we'll be okay. Just checking myself here. So, oh, sorry. Didn't realise you couldn't see a bloody thing I was doing. Yeah. That's what we get. Okay, let me sort this. Alright, so I think that's kind of sorted there. So the grass, the white colour will go clear. I'm not saying that it's not going to mark it. I don't know. It could very well leave a slight stain here. But we are going to put quite a bit of decorations on, so I think we're going to be okay. I think that's roughly how it's meant to be. This is meant to be 0.5 down the bottom here, which it is. So I think we're going to be alright. Okay, so now we put this to one side and we're going to start on trees. Trees it is. So I have a whole pot here. I have masking tape stuck to my elbow. And that means we will be using more beacon. So what I've done is I haven't cut it all the way yet because I wanted to assess the situation. So what I think I'm going to do is cut off the top of one of these. Get my little scissors, it's probably easier. Separate them out for starters. So I'm not going to cut them all the way out. I am going to just separate them quick. And it's not going to be a perfect cut, as long as you're going down your line here, it doesn't matter. And this is the way I do it. So different people, different things. So I will be just making sure the top of it is going to be lined up. The side there lined up. So I'm just going to cut this part out. But I'm not going to cut any of the rest out. I will do the rest once. Well, maybe I'll get that little triangle at the top here. Might be easier than doing it with a blade. But then what I'll do is I'll let it dry and I'll come back and cut it out, and then we'll put the other side on. So this tree has it's double-sided, so I'm assuming you will be seeing it from both sides. So let's get some beacon going on this. By the time this side dries, we should be able to cut it out and put the other side on. So just make sure you get all your branches, particularly edges, are going to be important for your tree. The beacon can be a bit stringy, so, and I haven't got my paper down. However, it might be okay. Okay. Got everything on my desk at the moment, and this bugs me too. It's one of those things that bug you, you know, or bug me anyway. And just going to line this up at the bottom, about even at the bottom. I've got a side piece cut out so I can judge on here at the top, and I can see that it was not straight. And then at the top here, you can see I need to pull it up a little bit. And that is looking pretty good, and then rub it down. So I'm going to put that to one side to dry, and we are going to do something very similar to all of these. So we have 3 plants. Some have them on both sides, well, one on this case has it on both sides and one has it on one side. So I'm going to start with the both sides so it has chance for one side to dry. And again, all I'm going to do is cut it in half, so I have one of them for now. Doesn't matter which side we start on. Make sure I can line it with something. And you can also hold it up to a light if you're happy with that, or you can just cut the whole thing out. It depends on, sometimes this does backfire on me, this method, by the way. It's not always foolproof. I've definitely had where it backfires. So this will go on here, other way, like so. And then I'll get a blade to cut it out after it's dry. This one is just one side, so and it doesn't have to be fully dry either, just enough that you can play with it, basically. Cut it out, not play with it. No, that was the wrong word. I'm just going to take the top of that one off, and then this one is for here, and again just going to do one end just so I know where to line it up to. I just find sometimes things are a little bit easier to cut out with a blade than with scissors, although I've got a lot better on my scissors. Okay, so let's see how that's going to go. Nope, I have it the right way. It's going to go like so. And I will hold this one up to the light. And again, get to your edges. And I will let that dry. I should have done the double one first because I've been wanting that one quicker. And just put it on. Line up where you've cut if you're doing it this way. If not, and you've used scissors and you've done it probably how you were meant to, then you will have this down. So mine's just slightly off here. Oh, it's the glue. It's not that it's off. It's just a little glue splodge on the back there. And let's get this one underway because this one is the more important one because we've got the two sides to do. And you don't want to have too much of a glob. Well, that one's got a glob. So I'll clean that out in a second. Because we're going to want to cut into there. And that should work, holding it up to a light. Let's clean that out. So we can get the right thing. Tools. Just doing this, it just makes it harder to cut through. And we're going to want to cut each step on this one. And then lastly, this one, which only has one side going to it. So just make sure you have the right side facing you. I'm going to take a moment to line. I'm going to get a blob in a hole again there, aren't I? Oh, just go all the way over it, you know. Okay. And if you've cut it out, it probably won't matter if you get it in the hole, to be honest with you. But like I say, it's just not the way I do it. And sometimes it has definitely backfired on me. Sometimes walls can backfire and that's never pretty. Although the majority of times it's workable. Okay, just make sure my holes are okay. Otherwise I'm going to struggle to get, I might even struggle to get these cut out anyway, because they're so small. I think we're okay. The other way, and let me try and do it to this one while the other's drying, would be to take your blade, and this is a new blade, and for your little holes in the middle, just cut them out first. So I'm going to do that in this case, because these are very small holes. And just go all the way around. I mean, I've just got a crafter knife, that's all I have, I'm sure. I think there's an exacto kind of knife you can get for crafting. Don't own one. One day maybe I'll get to it. It's one of the things that never quite reach my shopping cart. Everything else always seems more important, because it's not everything that I need it so precise as this, really. And then just pop it out. But nevertheless, even with that, maybe that's why you have to use an X-Acto knife. It's still got some white marks. And what I might do is go over that just with a marker. Try and get a green, matching green, and go over it with a marker. Alright, so I'm going to cut this one out, but I'm going to be leaving the others until afterwards and do it with the wood in situ. And the tree I don't see to be that much of a problem. It doesn't have like holes really in the middle of it. Hey, I saw you come up and then you went back down. And if I'm worried about it, get off. Alright, let me get the other one done. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get the tree cut. And so with this one, where I cut the holes, I went around the area with a green marker, like the acrylic paint markers, and then I'm going to go in my little area here. And if this is very difficult to do, then going forward with the other side, I'll just cut it out first, and then I'll get a brown marker for it if it doesn't work, which I might need to do anyway by the looks of it. No, I just missed. I think it will be easier to cut this out there. And I'll just go over any edges with a brown marker, which I would do anyway, on if I cut them out by scissors. That doesn't make any difference. Just avoid the wood, famous last words. I seem to manage to catch wood quite often. But again, can be hidden by many sins. Now if your glue has seeped and you're doing it this way, it is you have to put a little bit more pressure around where it has seeped and gathered. As you can see, this one's just a little bit there. And you might find this more hassle than cutting them with a pair of scissors, really. Different ways, right? If we all did the same way, it'd be ever so boring. And then I get in here. Well, totally missed where I was trying to go. I mean, I know I was avoiding the wood, but this was right in the middle of the paper. So I'm going to get the rest of this cut out and I'll come back. Let me get this one done. And I will go around these edges with green anyway, because I try not to tear it like I just did, because it doesn't work well. Just because otherwise what happens is you end up seeing the white of the paper one way or another. And cut around this, and these holes are probably going to be a bit problematic, which I was thinking, which is why I ended up cutting them out already. But the edges generally aren't too bad. And the nice thing about doing this way, then you can make sure that you are covering it, although it does have a green background, so you know, even if you slipped a little bit with your measurements in your scissors, it's probably not going to be the scissors, it's not going to be the be on end all. And then this one I'll cut out with scissors, and this can go actually on the model. It actually sticks on the mirrors. So at this point with your mirrors, you can take off that protective covering, and I will have to do it on the top one, because that's where this one's going to go. But I'm going to leave the bottom one on for the moment, just because I know that I get glue on my hands, and then I get what you just saw. It's all over the place, goes on the grass, which will probably be fine. Not going to worry about my grass. And then I'm going to go in and cut the little holes out on this one, which you can use the same principle, just take your time, or use scissors. I mean, like I've gone around this one with this knife, which is my preferred one to hold. I'm not saying it's the best one in the world, don't even know which one it was, I've had it a long time. I just try and change out the blades every time I start a new model. And if it was a very big model, I'd probably be doing it more than once. But generally, I find this a better way for me to do it, especially when I wasn't as good with scissors. I'm not saying I'm perfect with scissors, but I'm better with scissors than I was at one point. And pop it through. And this one looks like it totally missed going on, and that's okay, that's alright, don't worry too much. Alright, let me get this finished and I'll get it all cleaned up, and I'll get all the rest cut out, and we can take it from there and get the other side of this tree on as well. Alright, so I cut this one with a pair of scissors, and all I'm going to do, whether it's scissors or blade, I'll do the same thing, is I'll try and find a similar-ish colour. It doesn't have to be perfect, and go over it. I actually cut off the top there. Unfortunate, isn't it? Well, it happens. So, I mean, it's nice to be able to go over it, and this colour's obviously not exactly matching, but just go around, because you're always going to get the white of the papers showing through. And you don't have to do this, it's just my thing, and I don't do it for every model. I think it depends on the model. I don't know, really. Some things, or maybe it depends on my time. If I have a little bit of time, then I do this. I just go down it, and like I say, I use scissors in the knife for this one, but kind of almost I mean, it's pretty academic, really. And I know the bottom of this will be covered up. Hey, turned and knocked everything over. But tiny bit of bother. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. That's the one I did with cutting out afterwards, which I think looks fine. And then I've got this one, which I did with a pair of scissors. It's pretty academic as to which one's better or which one's not. And they each have their own little areas. Right, and I've done that one. Cut this out with scissors, and then I will get the blade to our little areas here, and I'll go over it with green. I've got a couple of shades of green going on, depending on where it is, because some of them are a little bit on the shady side. It has a bit more shade on it. Like you can see on here, it's a lot lighter at this end than it is that end. So I've got a couple of greens. But like I say, don't have them. Don't go crazy. Don't worry about it too much. And I'll give this one a quick go. But you can see what I'm doing. And we have quite a few of these trees to make, by the way, or branches and trees and leaves and things. But I'll get this one done, and hopefully get this one done for today, and we can get this installed. I don't think we installed this yet, but we can have it done, ready for next time. Alright, okay, I'll be back. Okay, so all done. Kind of gone over the edges as well, make sure that they are all good. So for this, I'm going to use wood glue, and what we are going to do is attach our branches. So we have one going to go here, and you want it to show this part of the branch, so it literally just sits on the V. It looks like it sits the other way around. No, I think it's this way. And you want that literally on the edge. So I want to probably prop this up with something, I'll say. What am I prop it up with that I'm not going to use? Let me prop it up with one of the other branches that I was hoping to get to today. One of my other pots. However, what I am going to do going forward to make your life a little bit more enjoyable is get some of it done beforehand. So you don't have to show, actually you do, you kind of want to show the little hole here. Come with me, follow it round. You want to show the little gap in the branches up the top there too. Then this one sits right on the end. It's like, how do you balance all this? You understand if you only use super glue. Let's see, it's £1 a piece. And that's for this one. Bit of a balance act, doesn't it? Like so. And then this one goes on top of the other one, where it's almost marked out actually for you. So this one can have a little bit of glue on it. And because obviously this one's not stationary, we don't want to be moving it too much. A little bit more. There we go. Maybe down there. So I think it is meant to line up with the other one. Could have done that before it went on too, couldn't we? On my branch. Okay, so let's deal with that one, which will be with different glue. So I'm going to carefully move this to one side. Okay, we are bringing this model back in, putting the wood glue back on because we won't be needing that. Yeah, I've got paint all over me. Right, and what we want to do is, for this, it's going to actually stick on the mirror. So what we want to do is peel off the thing, and it does say to peel it off at both. I'm just not doing that yet. We don't install the tree we just made, by the way, for a bit. So beautifully clean mirror. And where it will sit is on here, so it will go all the way up here. So by the time we get there, we will definitely be installing, but would have removed the other plastic. So when you come to do this, it looks weird because it's such an angle. When you come to do it, go very careful not to put too much glue on it, because what you don't want to do is smear that window all over the show. So I'm going to put a little bit in the middle of each one, and a little bit on that edge here. If you put too much, like I say, it will smear the mirror, and then it's kind of going to give the effect of a reflection. Just pop this, give me a second, guys, so I can get it lined up properly. Okay, and then we have it. So loads of stuff all over the show, and that's what we're having. So it's going to have some sort of really cool reflection going on there, but that's what we have. My mirror is so far out, my camera, and you just want to line it up to the edge. Like I say, it doesn't matter if it's not fully stuck down on these ends. It is double-sided, so if it does lift a bit, it's just going to add to the effect rather than not. So that is it for today. So we've got pretty far, really. We're still working obviously quite a bit on the base here. And we have now got this in position. We have our little tree, which doesn't look anything special like that. But when you look at it, when it's reflecting, it kind of looks really cool. So that's what we have for here. And let me see, I can probably put this up a little bit so you can see it like so. And it like makes the pond look like double the size, even though it's got that bit of green in the corner, but I'm thinking that's going to be well hidden anyway. And then of course we did our tree, which is able to be moved-ish. Not 100%. No, definitely shouldn't have moved it. Not without the paper. How am I going to fit it in the thumbnail without moving it, huh? We put a lot of work into this. It needs to have something going down. And then we got our tree. So that's kind of what we have done for this issue. Alright, so then it's something like so. So it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And we've got our one tree done. And like I said, that tree is going to fit down here. So any comments are very much appreciated. I'm sure I've done some things wrong, and you could correct me. I'd appreciate it. And I don't think, like the way I used to do, like the cutting out, maybe I've lost that ability. I just don't think I did it anywhere near as well as what I've done in the past. And it's possible, you know, I mean, my abilities change. Probably need new glasses or something, you know, how that goes. Anyway, so yes, do leave any comments. I much appreciate them. Do please like and subscribe as well if you have not already, but I appreciate every single one of you, how you have been helping this channel to be where it is today. And most of all, take care of yourself, and we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, I didn't go through what's going to happen tomorrow. Very quick then. We are doing more trees, and we're going to make some bird houses, several. We're going to make a log cabin. Those I've already got ready to rock and roll, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. And then some signs, and maybe we can get some more signs in an email box. I'm sure it means a post box. They call it an email box. And then we have some butterflies to get ready as well. And we are working after that on several plants and things like that before we start installing them into our base. So tomorrow, I very much doubt, unless miracles happen, that we'll be working on our base whatsoever. So thank you very much. Like I say, do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.